morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Anustha Acharya. The top stories first. Chhath festival concludes today. Devotees worship the rising sun to wrap up the festival. National census begins today. This is the first census after promulgation of new constitution. Government confirms 387 new cases of coronavirus. Number of active cases drops to 7,519. US and China vow to work together on climate change. Two biggest carbon polluters place concrete actions. And England crashed out of T20 World Cup. Jimmy Nissam swings the game in favor of New Zealand. And now the news in detail. Today is the fourth and final day of Chhath festival that is observed as the common cultural symbol of Tarai and Madhes. A report. The festival is dedicated to the sun god and concludes after offerings prayers to the rising sun today morning. It is observed from the 4th to the 7th day of the bright half of lunar calendar in the month of Kartik. It usually falls between October and November in the Georgian calendar. The rituals of Chhath festival includes taking holy bath, fasting and worshipping the sun and offering prayers to the rising and setting sun. During this period, the worshipper observes purity and sleeps on the floor on a single blanket. This is the only holy festival which has no involvement of any priest. It is only dedicated to the goddess Chhati Mai, who is believed to be one of the forms of nature. The sun, considered as the god of energy and of the life force, is worshipped during the Chhath festival to promote well-being, prosperity and progress of family members. This festival, which used to be observed in the Tarai Madhes, is gaining popularity in hill districts including the Kathmandu Valley. President Vidya Devi Bhandari offered prayers to the sun and god Chhati Mai yesterday on the occasion of Chhath festival. The president offered prayers to the setting sun at Gauri Ghat and Kamal Pokhari yesterday as part of the festival. The 4-day festival concludes today after offering prayers to the rising sun. Prior to this, the devotees give up impure blood such as boiled rice, millet, lentil and flesh on the eve of the festival. Chhath is a festival of bathing and worshipping that follows a period of abstinence and segregation of the worshipper from the main household for 4 days. This festival is observed wishing for the good health, happiness and prosperity of the family and community. The 12th national census begins across the country from today. According to the Central Bureau of Statistics, the national census is being conducted from November 11 to 25. Member of the National Planning Commission, Dr. Ramkumar Fuyal, said that this census is vital because it is the first census after the country adopted federalism. According to him, the census will help in collecting vital information which can be used to make development plans. This census will prepare the disaggregated statistics on the basis of sustainable development goals, prosperity and good governance. The national census in Nepal takes place in every decade and the first census was held 109 years ago in 1911 during the regime of Rana Prime Minister Chandra Shamsher. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. The government yesterday confirmed 387 new cases of coronavirus across the country. Following the latest round of tests, the total cases of coronavirus in the country have climbed to 815,715, while the number of active cases has dropped to 7,519. The death toll from coronavirus has climbed to 11,460 after the virus claimed 6 more lives yesterday. Nepal is currently among top 45 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The USA tops the list with over 47.64 million confirmed cases, followed by India with over 34.38 million cases. Coronavirus has infected more than 252.09 million people across the world and claimed over 5.08 million lives. The national census, which is conducted in every 10 years, will be held for 15 days beginning from today. However, government officials will not collect any data from Lipulekh, Limpuyadhura and Kalapani, which fall within the map of Nepal. The Central Bureau of Statistics has completed all preparations to conduct the national census to determine the population of Nepal as well as other vital social and economic status. The census will be held from November 11 to 25 in all 7 provinces. However, data collection from Lipulekh, Limpudhura and Kalapani will not take place. Government officials say that it is challenging to collect data from those areas fearing obstruction from the Indian Army. It is the responsibility of the government of Nepal to collect data from the families and communities that fall within the boundary of Nepal. However, the officials are not able to collect data from those areas that fall within the map of Nepal but are surrounded by the Indian Army. The concerned officials have urged the government to resolve the problem at diplomatic level. Although the government is making diplomatic efforts in this regard, officials say that India has not shown any interest in this issue. And now the news from economic front. "19 medical stores run against the criteria set by the government have been suspended. The Department of Drug Administration took the action against 19 medical stores that were operating in Kathmandu Valley. The department took such action between mid-September to mid-October as they were found running without permission. Sources at the DDA said that the medical stores were suspended for 4 to 15 days as per the Drug Act. There is a provision that medical stores should be operated only after registration with the DDA. The drug stores that were suspended include Luxi Pet Pharma Koteshwar, Gandhi Manohara Community Health Center, Kageswari Manohara, Sapantirtha Pharmacy, Tokha Prakritik Bipas Pharmacy, Chorali Pharmacy, Tokha Emergency Medical Hall, Nanda Krishna Pharmacy, Subedi Pharmacy, Anamol Pharmacy, Siddhi Pharmacy, among others. Time for a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international news. Welcome back. Now the international news. China and the US have agreed to boost climate cooperation over the next decade in a surprise announcement at the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow. The world's two biggest CO2 emitters pledged to act in a joint declaration. It says both sides will recall their firm commitment to work together to achieve the 1.5 temperature goal set out in the 2015 Paris Agreement. They called for step-up efforts to close the significant gap that remains to achieve that target. Scientists say that limiting global temperature rises to 1.5 Celsius will help humanity avoid the worst climate impacts. This is compared to pre-industrial temperatures at Paris in 2015, while leaders pledged to try to keep the world from warming by more than between 1.5 Celsius to 2 Celsius through sweeping emissions cut. US President Joe Biden and Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping are expected to hold a virtual meeting as early as next week. The two countries are seen as global rivals on a number of issues. Up to 5,000 Afghan refugees a day are crossing into neighboring Iran, compounding the already heavy burden it faced, hosting an estimated 3.6 million Afghans, a relief group said Wednesday. The Norwegian Refugee Council called for more international support for Iran, which, despite facing through U.S. economic sanction, operates what the Council described as one of the most inclusive refugee policies in the world. Iran cannot be expected to host so many Afghans with so little support from the international community, the Council's Secretary General Jan Egeland said after a visit to Iran this week. There must be an immediate scale-up of aid both inside Afghan and in neighboring countries like Iran before the deadly winter cold. The Council said it was estimated that at least 300,000 Afghans had crossed into Iran since the Taliban entered Kabul as US-led troops withdrew in August. You are watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. New New Zealand ended England's hope at the Men's T20 World Cup with a dramatic semi-final victory in Abu Dhabi. England looked on course of Sunday's final until an assault from Jimmy Nisam swung the game in New Zealand's favour in a thrilling finale. Nisam smashed 3 sixes, each a body blow to England's hopes as the back cap's pursuing of 167 was given life. The all-rounder was caught for 27 from 11 balls in the 18th over, but with 20 needed from 12 balls, opener Daryl Mitchell took on the attack. He hit Chris Wokes for 2 sixes, finishing 72 not out from 47 balls as New Zealand won by 5 wickets with an over to spare England. England cantered through the group stage with 4 comprehensive wins, but their quest to become the first team to hold both the men's 50 overs and T20 World Cups is now over. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Chhath festival concludes today. Devotees worship the rising sun to wrap up the festival. The 12th National Census begins today. This is the first census after the promulgation of new constitution. Government confirms 387 new cases of coronavirus. Number of active cases dropped to 7,519. US and China vow to work together on climate change. Two biggest carbon polluters place concrete actions. And England crashed out T20 World Cup. Jimmy Nisam swing the games in favour of New Zealand. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.